Parker, the Cubs have beautiful Wrigley Field. They have all these nice, expensive buildings that they get a lot of money from. They're one of the most, expensive tickets in baseball. And yet they seemingly never, ever bring out the cash to pay a pitcher. After their defeat at the hands of the Brewers this postseason, are they finally going to spend money on a pitcher, Parker?
Well, I certainly hope so, because even with the lack of depth that they had in starting pitching and in the bullpen, the fact that they seemingly never want to pay a reliever, they still managed to get 92 wins on the board. They still managed to win a round in the postseason against a very good Padres team, and then they lose in the NLDS in 5 games to the Brewers. Like you can't get much closer than that, and it really is a shame because this was the year to really invest. You had Kyle Tucker, you don't have him anymore. Shota, I think, was a bit of a disappointment over the last year. I think that not because the expectations for him were very high. I think the hope was higher than the expectation, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
and
with you.
I,
Your point, Parker, is a good one. I want to spend some time talking about where this team is going, where they're heading, and how they get better after really a effortless seemingly showing against the Brewers. I mean, the Brewers really walked all over them. Pitching was an eyesore, clearly, both the rotation and the relief core. But I want to start with the pitching because we've talked about this when we talked about every other team in the playoffs, and it's proven true so far in this postseason. The teams that do not have the pitching depths are finding themselves with early outs. I mean, you cannot go through a trade deadline and not reinforce your pitching if you're serious about going deep in the postseason. And the Cubs are one of the biggest offenders with this.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw the Dodgers just get a complete game out of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It's like, oh wow, look, it's the most highest paid pitcher in baseball history, doing what the highest paid pitcher in baseball history should do. Um, and I really want to harp on the highest paid because the Chicago Cubs have no excuse to not be in that top three highest payroll teams in MLB. They are the Chicago Cubs. There's like 3 teams with the gravitas to their franchise like the Cubbies. It's like pick 3 of the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, and Cubs. Like those are them. Um, and it's really disappointing to see a year where they got so much out of so little. They squeezed every drop of juice out of the roster that they had, and they got some incredible performances from a guy like Cade Horton. They got incredible performances from Tucker, from the entire lineup. Are you really betting on Carson Kelly having the season that he had? Are you really betting on Shaw having the season he had? Like you can't. You can't. You got so much out of so little.
That is like the perfect way to say that because that is how I sum up this whole team is you are banking on guys that, when we had our awards a couple weeks ago, we were talking about prom king seasons. It's a bunch of
Yeah,
prom king season guys. I mean,
I really do think so.
even the rotation, you're not going to get another year of that from Matthew Boyd. You're not going to get a better year
No.
out of Jameson Tayo. You're just not. So when you look at the rotation, first off, you have Steele and Horton at the top, which is great. But guys, you don't know how they're going to come into spring training, especially Steele, right? Who's
Yeah,
recovering from a
no.
massive injury. So
Hmm.
beyond that, there's a lot of question marks. Shota, I love what Shota has done. He's had a couple really solid years. However, I don't love his stuff. I just don't. I really struggle, 10 years ago, maybe not, even 5 years ago, maybe not. But now I struggle with guys who can't pitch high 90s regularly. Um, the breaking stuff is nothing that's blowing me away. Makes me nervous.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I want to be very clear. Nobody makes me and Anthony happier to see succeed than guys like Shota. Like
Of course.
like I love a slop throwing dude going out there and just
Yes.
making dudes miss. Like I don't need you to blow people away. I just need you to make a miss. And honestly, there are times where nobody does it better than Shota. But you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I cannot abide by seriously relying in a mid 90s fastball these days as your like number 1 or 2 pitcher in your rotation, which is kind of what they needed. They didn't know what they had in Cade Horton this year. they were relying on Shota to be the number one after Steele goes down. And like, if I'm a Cubs fan and Shota's throwing 92 and he's my number one, I understand that Cubs fans just got through a lot of years of Kyle Freeland, but like, or Kyle Freeman, right? Am I crazy? What the hell is that guy's name?
Kyle Freeland.
Yeah,
Wait,
Kyle. Okay, yeah.
many years of you're talking about Kyle Hendricks.
Kyle Hendricks. Yeah.
There
I'm
you
stupid.
go.
I know that Cubs fans just got through many years of Kyle Hendricks, and they're used to that guy who can throw soft and still get outs. But like, velocity is king these days for a reason, because even the best hitters in baseball do not hit well against 100 plus. Even Aaron Judge has never hit a home run off of 100 plus. So like, that is so valuable, but it's also very expensive. And if the Cubs are going to be in a position to really compete with Tucker potentially being gone for good and rolling out the same roster with, I don't really see who you could sign in this offseason that could supplement the offensive production of a Kyle Tucker, except maybe a Kyle Schwarber, and like truly fit into that Cubs lineup. So you're going to need more progression from PCA. You're going to need more progression from Shaw. You're going to need more progression from Horner and Dansby, guys who are known quantities. You're going to need a season of a lifetime again from Carson Kelly. Like, look at all of what you're relying on. It's super discouraging because I thought that this had to be the year. I think a lot of people thought that this had to be the year for the Cubs. And as soon as Steele goes down, it just kind of goes up in smoke.
I do think that, how do I want to put this? Could the Cubs let Tucker walk and they could make up for some of that with some improved seasons? I'm looking at guys like a Matt Shaw, like you said, or guys like Pete Crow-Armstrong having more consistent season next season.
Yeah.
They could probably make that up. However, again, you are the Chicago Cubs, and Kyle Tucker is one of those cornerstone guys that you build a team around. Give him the damn money. Just do it. Like, how many opportunities are you going to have to do this? I mean, like you said, there's no other alternative. What are you going to do? Go ahead and throw all your money at Pete Alonso? Probably not. Kyle Schwarber? You could, but again, what are you going to do there? I just don't know. This team, I get really concerned about what they're going to do with their lineup, because I don't think they have a lot of options other than kind of relying on their young talent, which is why I'm harping so much on the pitching, because I think that's going to be the real difference maker for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you see a world in which, do you think the Braves are going to exercise Chris Sale's option?
Let's see where he's at and what his options at. Do you know offhand what his options actually value at? Hold on, I don't
know offhand. Here. I just know that he has it. Let me see. Spotrac.
So it looks like Chris Sale's option is $18 million.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. If I had to make a judgment call right now, I also think the Braves are one of those teams that are doing a lot of soul searching, and I don't think they renew that option. I don't think they pick it up,
because I think that I lean the other way, because I agree they are soul searching. How do you let Chris Sale walk out the door? Because it's a club option.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about the Braves now, but how about this? I'll shorten this conversation up by saying, in a world where Sale's available, he needs to be a Cub. The Cubs need to get one of Cease, Framber Valdez, or Ranger Suárez. One of those guys needs to be in a Cubs uniform next year.
That is perfect. One of those, without a doubt. But here's one thing that's hovering over them in this whole rotation discussion, and that is Imanaga. Okay, he has a very unique option situation going on, Parker. So he's got this weird option situation where he has 2 player options for 2026 and 2027, and then he's got a club option for 28. But here's the caveat here: the Cubs need to pick up the 17 million club option in 28, and then only after that can Shota opt into the 2 previous years at 15 million. So if you're the Cubs, Parker, are you going to be paying? I know.
So it's first off 3 more years of Shota or no more years. A QO.
Yes, that's exactly right. So are you paying Shota through age 35, 15 million, 15 million, 17 million?
Why do I feel like, when you say 35, I lean yes. Because I didn't know how old he was, and I thought he was like 36 already.
Ooh, okay. All right. All
So
right. This is not Justin
genuinely,
Verlander, my friend. This is not
yeah,
Justin Verlander.
genuinely, I think you do it. I think you do. Because, number one, I don't see Shota Imanaga wearing another MLB uniform. I think he's a Cub. I think he needs to remain a Cub. I think that would suck to see him play somewhere else. And that's weird to say because he's been playing for the Cubs for like 3 years,
Um,
3, 4 years.
no, he only has like a year of service time according to Fangraphs. That can't be right.
No. Well, I mean, he's missed time.
Wait, no, yeah. Yeah, it's no, yeah, I think that's right. Hold on.
2
Now,
years.
now,
2
hold on.
years, 2024
We're
and
down the
2025.
rabbit hole.
Yeah. I remember
Wow.
now.
Okay,
2024
that's
and
right.
2025 because he was the Yamamoto year. I remember now. Yep.
Yeah,
He was the other Japanese pitcher. It was like, oh, nobody or whoever got Yamamoto. And
right.
then I remember being like, I want the Red Sox to sign Imanaga now. Okay, so he's only been there for 2 years, but still, to me, he's a Cub. Like, to me, he's going to,
Right.
I want him to stick around and be a Cub. So sign up for 3 more years. I think I would, mostly because if he's your number 5 starter, he's one of the best number 5 starters in baseball.
Sure. Sure.
So I don't know. And 15 million's not the end of the world. I think Nick
I'll tell you
Pivetta. What
what.
was Nick Pivetta making this year?
Oh, he's like 23 or 24, something wild. Something wild.
Exactly. So like, and I think, take Shota over the next 3 years over taking Pivetta over the next 3 years.
The whole money thing, that's a whole I think you're right. I think 15 million is a steal because now what some of these pictures are making is just I just makes me want to barf because a lot of this is not even quality pitching I'm paying for. I'm, I'm not paying for
Yeah.
200 strikeouts for most of these guys.
So actually, Pivetta made 2.5 million in 2025, but in 2026 he's slated for $20.5 million.
See, no, no.
Yeah. I think that was due to the fact that the Padres had to give up the draft pick to sign Pivetta because of the QO.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but anyway, I
Well,
think that my theory still stands. I think I would take Shota Imanaga over Nick Pivetta over the next 3 years. Shota is cheaper. I think he would opt into that third year if given the opportunity, or he would opt in for those first 2 years if given the opportunity by the Cubs taking the 28. What if they take the 2028 and he says no, and then do they get him back in 2028? He just goes away for 2 years and he comes back and
yeah,
pitches.
I don't know, but I think that option is that's just wild the way that's structured. I can't say I've ever seen anything like that, and I don't love that they're locked into Schroeder for 3 more years. I don't know, but who am I? I know I look at this Cubs team, and I guess the last thing I'll say about it, Parker, is this is a team that I think has so much variability in what 2026 looks like. I don't think it's
Mm.
out of the question, depending on what they do in the offseason, that this team can come into 2026 and have 75 wins or win another 92. I think their spread is so much.
Would you pay $15 million a year for 25 starts, 3.7 ERA?
How much am I paying a year?
15 million.
All day.
That is what Shota Imanaga did this season.
Well, let's add some context there. If I have like shit on a stick for the rest of the rotation, yeah. Like
I
that's
don't
just
know,
what it
man. I
is.
think he had a sub 3 ERA last season.
Yeah. I mean, he was good. There's no doubt about it. He has been good. And if he
But
could
it's
like
the
and
velocity concern.
it is, I'll tell you what. Here's my challenge to Shota and the Cubs. If you can get and people think like, "Oh, does it really make a difference?" It does. If he can get his fastball up 1 mile per hour, 1.5 mile per hour and have that more of that velocity difference off of that breaking ball, we're in business.
Yeah.
Like that stuff matters.
No, I can agree. I still think he's a good 5 starter. But that being said, not a lot of
Yeah.
teams are paying their five
Yeah.
starter a $15 million contract. How crazy would it be if like next season the Cubs load in and and they've got like could you imagine what I know this sounds so strange, but imagine what adding like a Merrill Kelly, a Chris Bassett, and then one of those big three I said earlier, Framber, Ranger Suarez, or Dylan Cease.
I mean, that would be awesome, Parker. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the Chicago Cubs. Guess what? I don't believe anything until they actually do the damn thing. So,
That's true. That's a grand total of like $75 million in payroll right there
yeah, yeah. And
a
payroll
year.
that they 100% can afford. Will they do it? We will see. We're going to be
Maybe.
following, all these teams that have fell out of the playoffs early rounds. We're going to be following them, especially the Cubs, because I think you and I, when we get at the end of the offseason here, are going to have a lot to talk about with this team, what they did do, or maybe what they didn't.